So, EJ, national championship finally here. I mean, two great stories, right? Miami, a team that nobody even, or not nobody, but a lot of people didn't even want in the college football playoff because it was like, hey, Notre Dame, you know what I mean? They have better losses. But obviously, Miami, it was the head-to-head matchup. Miami gets in over Notre Dame. And Indiana, the 70th most talented roster in the country, Kurt Cignetti, the Fighting Cignettis, make their way to the national championship, despite, like I said, being the 70th, roster in the country when it comes to talent-wise. But one of the best coach teams you'll see, and it just so on schedule with everything. The timing of the plays, just very, very coherent team. One of the most I've seen. This feels like an early 2010s Nick Saban type of team, like truly, at Alabama. So really excited for this one, EJ. What are your thoughts on it? How do you think this is going to go, man? Tickets for this game are ridiculous price-wise. So how do you feel about this one down there in Miami?
Yeah, man, that's what I was thinking. That's the first thing I thought is who can afford to go to this game? I am trying to remember a team that was just so well connected. You know what I mean? I mean, 2019 LSU but they had six or seven first round draft picks on their team. But that team was very well connected. This Indiana team is a combination of just winning football, just the will to win. They have that. They are very well prepared for every game as well. Like they know exactly what they want to do and what they need to do every time that one unit gets out there on the field. Nothing is missed. Every single position group knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be doing it, to the point to where not only they can just do their job, they go above and be like the first play of the game against Oregon. It's almost like they knew what the play was. And then I know that some people are talking about, oh, they're cheating, they're figuring out the plays. I'm kind of like, okay, everyone always wants to come up with an excuse when you get mollywopped by Indiana. Theoretically, if Indiana only has seven blue chip players on their entire roster, when teams like Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia have 70, 10 times as many blue chips as Indiana, you should be able to go give Indiana your playbook and say, hey, here's my playbook. Here's the exact play I'm going to run. And they still shouldn't be able to do anything. This is just incredible masterclass coaching preparation. Miami is going to have to rely on their talent on the lines of scrimmage in this game. And the only way I see a pathway for Miami winning this game is through doing that, running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage, bleeding the clock, and then when Indiana has the ball, get after it, stop the run, and get after Mendoza. Low possession game with high risk on Indiana possessions, meaning Indiana has to score. If Miami can do that, I think they have a chance. But the issue with this Indiana team, they're explosive when they need to be. They're methodical when they need to be. They can run the ball when they need to. They can stop your run. They just have way too many intangibles that favor them in this game. Now Mark Cuban is backing them with $1 billion, whatever he's giving them. It's going to be a tough game for Miami, I think.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a very tough game for Miami, and even though Miami has technically more talented players, the coaching, the game plan that Indiana is going to come in with is going to be very efficient, very effective, and it's overall, EJ, hard to beat a fundamentally good college football team. And it's very tough because they're always doing the right thing, and that's why Nick Saban had all that success for every single season. His team was absolutely dominant, and that's because he mixed really good talent with a really good fundamental coaching, and that's why even when his team was up by 45 points in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, he was screaming at his guys because he knew that fundamental stuff that they're doing or weren't doing, in that example, is going to hurt them on later on down the line when they do play really good talent. And so I agree. If I'm Indiana coming into this game defensively, right? Miami has also been playing very well fundamentally, has not been making a lot of mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. There has been a few, but they've been playing just pretty good. Just take care of the ball, get the ball down the field. Especially in this last game that they just had in the semifinal. One thing that Miami's been able to do consistently is run the football in these games. Mark Fletcher is an absolute monster. Even their backups, I think, are really, really solid. So coming into this game, you have to stop Mark Fletcher. If Mark Fletcher's able to go and run down the field and get 4 or 5 yards of carry like he has been getting in this playoff, EJ, Miami's going to win this football game. And I think, well, they definitely cover, and I think they win it. If you're able to hold Mark Fletcher to maybe 3 yards of carry, under 3.5, I think you have a great shot, because now Carson Beck has to throw the ball a lot. And even though Carson Beck had a great last drive in the semifinal, it was a great thing to see. He had a run game to rely on. You know what I mean? And that defense knew, hey, we can't just sell on pass here. We have to watch out for Mark Fletcher in this run game. And this secondary for Indiana is dirty. They have I think they have the second rush defense in the country first and on some sites, but their pass defense is also top 10. That's scary, and they're well coached. And you look at the opening game, their opening play. You know what I mean? Opening play was a pick six. They're dirty, and I think that if you can force Carson Beck out of that game manager role and force him to actually make plays down the field consistently, he will make mistakes. But you got to stop Mark Fletcher, and I think Indiana will be able to. I think that's your gameplay coming in, and so I think they're going to limit Miami to no more than 14 points. Even if Malachi Toney has a great game, which I think he might be able to. Because even if you focus all your attention on Malachi Toney, you got CJ Daniels on the outside that you got to look out for. You know what I mean? You have some good tight ends too. So and this line of scrimmage is going to be ready under Mario Cristobal, but yeah, dude, I think that Indiana's going to be able to stop Mark Fletcher a little bit. Malachi Toney might go off and might be able to get him some points on the board. So I'm going to go 14 to 17 points for Miami in this game, kind of low scoring in that sense. Defensively, though, for Miami and offensively for Indiana's going to be able to score points. I mean, Mendoza reads the field beautifully, but you got Ruben Bain. And I think you got number 3 as well, I can't remember his name, for Miami, who's also a big disruptor on that defensive line for them, man. We haven't really seen Indiana against insane pass rushers like this. Ruben Bain, I think, is one of the best pass rushers that we've seen in college football in a hot minute, and a guy who's going to be playing his best in his home stadium with the biggest lights of his career. Miami wants this. They're hungry, but Indiana wants it even more. I think that Indiana's just going to have to... I trust Indiana to roll away from the pressure. I trust... And I know I've said that the past couple predictions that we've had, and I've said that multiple times, but I truly do think that Indiana will find ways in the run game, and I think they'll just be balanced like they have been. But what I'm worried about, EJ, is that it's going to come down to asking a lot from Mendoza, which they haven't had to do this season, and it's going to bite them in the ass because of the pressure that is going to be on Mendoza, right? And so I could see this game being a game that just kind of falls apart for Indiana because they haven't had to ask a whole lot of Mendoza this season. Stat-wise, he doesn't jump off of the page at you. And if some of those big plays just aren't working, and if he's just not connecting on his receivers down the field, and the run game's is getting off to a slow start, and Ruben Bain and number 3 is getting back there, then it's going to get ugly, and I think Miami can win this game. But I can't not pick Indiana in this. But we're picking the spread here, and the spread's 8.5 for Indiana. So I'm going to pick Miami to cover the 8.5, but I'm going to pick Indiana to win the game outright. It's going to be a really good game. This will be one of the best national championships we've had in a minute, DJ. So I pick Miami to cover.
Oh,
8.5 is a big number. That's a big number, dude.
So here's a lot of people are thinking Indiana is going to go mollywop Miami. They're thinking they're going to get mollywopped. When you look at how Indiana mollywops people, it's typically because the teams that they're beating are also used to mollywopping their opponents. So if you just look at the last three games for Indiana, Ohio State. Ohio State hadn't played a game this year that was close outside of the Texas game. And that was the first game of the year. Ohio State's used to just being up by 20 points. Now you're playing a team where, they're beating us. They have the lead. Indiana's got you right where Alabama, even though Alabama had some close games this year, they had never had a game where they were just getting destroyed outside of the Georgia game. And they didn't really get destroyed in that game until the end, like the fourth quarter. Then you look at Oregon. Oregon's used to being up by 20 points. And then all of a sudden, they're down by 20 points. So it's kind of like, well, what they gave up. So I'm just saying, Indiana has blown teams out who were used to blowing their opponents out and didn't have an opportunity to even make it a game. That's where Miami is a little bit different. Miami has never, they have had a couple of blowouts, but when they're playing good teams and they win, those are usually close games, like Notre Dame, like Texas A&M, like this last game against Ole Miss, who has a very comparable offense to Indiana, by the way, in terms of like the running with Lacey and then the ability of the quarterback. And Miami was very effective against their offense. Ole Miss is guys. I know people are like Indiana's way better. Ole Miss is a tough freaking offense to stop. Okay, and Miami put it on them. Now the difference is, I like you said, I think you were 100% correct. Indiana's defense is, I think, materially better than Ole Miss's. But how much will it matter if they can't stop Fletcher running the ball? That is the question. Overall, like you were saying, I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than just Indiana coming out and mollywopping them. Now, it could happen. Carson Beck can go back. I could just see like the first drive, he's back to throw it ridiculously when they should just be running it 75% of their plays. But they're going to drop him back in the pocket. And Indiana, somebody's going to be coming around the corner, and Carson Beck's going to freak out, and he may throw an interception. And then that's how the avalanche starts. So if you're Miami, you cannot allow that to happen. You have to power run, say, hey, y'all boys from Indiana, okay, we're down here driving Corvettes and Bugattis on Miami Beach. We're going to run you over. We're going to go run by you. You got to do that. And you can't turn the ball over. The only way Miami stays in this game is if they have that philosophy. Power run. We're going to run 66. Two out of every three plays is a run. Mm-hmm. And then when Indiana has the ball, we're actually going to catch the interceptions when they're thrown straight to us. If they're out here dropping 5 interceptions, there's no way you're winning this game. There's zero chance. You have to catch the interception. And I think there will be some opportunities just because of Bain, and I think his name is Massador.
Massador, yes.
Massador, yeah. Massador. Those two guys, listen, Miami has 2 defensive ends that are 90 plus on PFF. No wonder they're in the freaking shape. Guys, we're lucky if we get somebody that's in the 60s, which is like you're almost a little bit average, a little bit above average, maybe 70s above average. But when you have 90s, that means people are just, okay, we give up. We
Best
can't
in the
block
country.
these guys.
Yeah, like NFL guys, yeah.
NFL guys. And then you have 2 of them. So you can't like, let's double team this guy, and then they have nobody else. No. That's why they get in, because you can't double team one. Because if you double team one, the other guy's going to come and ramshack you. Miami, catch the interceptions, run the ball 66% of the time, keep the game close. Carson Beck, if anything, throw it away. Grounding is better than an interception. If you have to throw it away from the pocket, throw it away from the freaking pocket and punt the damn ball and play defense. But if you get back there and you try to throw that interception, throw it, and it's like, interception, Indiana, the game is over because they're going to avalanche you. So that's the game plan. Now, with all that said, I got to give the prediction. What's the most likely thing to happen? The most likely thing to happen is this game is very competitive in the first half, and it's a game going into halftime. It's probably like 17-17. Okay. Then the second half happens where Kirk Signetti gives him that look like this. Signetti gonna give him that look.
That's a good impression.
He's gonna give him that look. And then it's downhill from there for Miami. I think Indiana is going to hit them with. There's just too many fast break opportunities for Miami, and Mendoza throws those alley oops to. Is that number 84? What's this guy's name? Number 84 for, uh, or is it number 13? I don't even know. Who the hell
Number
knows?
13's a beast.
Number 13 is a freaking monster. All these guys are like highly rated. Second half's going to come around at 17-17. Then alley oop to number 13, alley oop to number 84, 31-17. Then Miami starts to panic because now you can't run the ball. You got to start throwing it. You don't have time. Fumble, scoop and score, game over. So that's how I think the game's going to go. So I'm going to go Indiana, even though I do think there is a world where, like you said, it's a close game. But I still think Indiana is going to have they're going to end it with a 10-point win. So I'm going to go Indiana 38, Miami 27, 11-point win. Indiana covers. I just think there's just too many things that have to go right for Miami to win this game. And Miami, their last game against Ole Miss, they dominated, but something with the coaching, something with I don't know, but the game was way closer than it should have been. It should have been if Miami catches two of those five drop interceptions, they're mollywopping Ole Miss.
Mhm.
But because you're dropping interceptions left and right, you're letting them stay in the game. You're not running the ball you're throwing it when you should be running it. Now all of a sudden it's a close game. Indiana's not going to make those mistakes. They're going to throw it when they're supposed to throw it. They're going to run it when they're supposed to run it. They're going to catch the interception. They're going to catch the alley oop, and then it's game over. Which I think you're going to have like a little kill shot run by Indiana in the midway through the third quarter, and that's going to be the game.
They're gonna need that because this rush defense for Miami's top 10 in the country as well. And that's a big identity for this Indiana offense is run, open up the pass. Mendoza is so good and reads the field so well that he's going to hit those shots when they present themselves,
Yeah.
right? And so if you could take away the rush, because they have three really good running backs in the backfield for Indiana, if you can take that rush game away, Miami has a big shot. But if Indiana is able to run the ball, like you said, with some of these big plays that kind of takes away, deflates that defense a little bit, EJ, Indiana will. I don't think there is a single world where Miami wins by 15, 20 plus, but I think there is a lot of worlds where, Indiana does win by 15, 20 plus. So we'll see, man. I think it's going to be a really good game, though. So you have Indiana covering?
I got Indiana covering, and just because you go back to that Ohio State game, it's going to look like that Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be close because Miami's got a defense that's similar. I just don't think Miami's offense is as capable, as Ohio State. But you got to keep it simple for like run the ball and don't, know the path and never depart from it. Like that's in the Bible. Read the Bible if you're Miami before this game. Maybe that'll help. Run the ball and don't depart from it, even if they stop you, because when you start throwing it, guess what? Game over, Flipperachi. It's over. Mendoza will bring the whole Cuban. Uh, Everybody in Miami is Cuban. They're all rooting for. This is going to be an Indiana home game in your own stadium.
All 800 of Mendoza's family is going to be there. It's going to be the family reunion in the stadium. It's going to be wild.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is like the whole state of Indiana is coming. The entire Cuban community, which is wonderful. These people are great. They stick together. They're all going to be there. Hell, Miami. You look at Miami. Their coach is Cuban. Like this is going to be. Guys, this is going to be incredible. I really hope it's a close game, but I got to go Indiana, Molly Wop,
There you
Miami.
go. There you go. We'll see what happens. I like that we have different picks. That's going to be fun, man. I'm really excited for that.